Hello.
Wow, wow. Author Alexxis, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. So good to have you on the One Student, One Book, One Author mantra, the Global Reader Circle, your ultimate podcast designed to make a reader out of every global person. We are so honored, so thrilled to have you on our book show.
Well, I thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule. And also, I know it's very late where you are. So I appreciate you and your opportunity.
Well, the good news is how do we get this right into the hands of the people you wrote it for, irrespective of the time differences, the boundaries, the foreign boundaries? How do we get to make every manner of person get to meet Alexis Steele? Wow, good to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So,
Yes.
sorry. I will be keeping this fun. We'll be keeping this fun, and it's just about your reading lifestyle, your journey into authorhood, your aspirations as an author, what drives you. But first, I'd like you to tell us about you.
Okay. Well, I am a lead vocalist. I play, I'm Stevie Nicks in a tribute band that I have. Um, I have a magazine called Steel Notes Magazine, which is entertainment. It's art, entertainment, music. So that spans a lot of things. And we're having our 10th anniversary in February, 10 years that I've had
Wow,
the magazine. And I started doing radio myself back in 2010, 2011. I
wow,
started on Rock Out Radio. And I do have my own radio shows as well on iHeartRadio.
wow, wow.
And that's
Amazing.
Music 101, Music 101 with Alexis Steele. And that's where I
Wow,
interview famous bands, musicians, author, art actors, industry icons, things of that nature.
wow, wow. So amazing. So it looks like you've been in this big industry of creativity for a very long time now.
Yes, I have. The thing with my writing, that actually was started around 2010, 2011 by a friend of mine who was an author who wrote for Beat Them Books and Beat Them Magazine. He was my muse. He was the one
Wow,
that encouraged me to start writing. But
wow,
at that time, it was my autobiography that I started writing. And that
wow.
was before I ever got into writing my first children's book.
So
So,
you would you like to tell us about your autobiography? I'm sure you've done something deeper into this journey. What have you done so far with your?
uh, well, my autobiography, I'm only probably about 5 chapters into it. And I'm actually going to break it down into probably at least 2 books because there's so many different aspects of my life and the things that I've done. Okay.
Wow,
So right now I'm actually have one that I'm writing called in the Name of Rock and Roll. And
wow,
that's my experiences in the industry starting from when I was 7 years old. So
wow,
that's one book. But then the other book, my regular autobiography, is going to be starting before I was ever even born. And my parents coming, my dad's family coming from Italy, across to the United States on the boat and all that. So, and up until that's going to probably go up until I was about 15, 16 years old. So that's why I'm breaking it down into several rather than all one big thing. Because the ultimate
wow,
goal is to have these made into a movie. My doctors told me many years ago, write a book on your life story because it'll definitely be a great movie. So that's what. But like I
wow,
said, that's a work in progress. That's going to be a lot longer, labor of love than my dog book. But the whole thing with my dog book, I love animals. I've had animals since I was a child, and
wow,
I had At that time, I had like 3 dogs, 2 cats, and
Wow.
my neighbors. When I moved to this area where I live at right now, it's called Hamilton Park. And when I first met people, they all had dogs, like 2
Wow.
dogs apiece. So
Wow.
I said, they really should call this Hamilton Bark. And
Wow.
this is Dogville because there are so many dogs.
Wow.
So, that's how that whole thing started. And I started writing it off of real things that happened. Now, not the entire book, obviously, is not 100% factual, but there
Yeah.
are a lot of scenes that are in the book that were real, that really happened.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
yeah,
Go on. Go on. Go on.
that's okay. So that's how, the whole thing got started. And for the first time in 24 years, I am totally petless. All my animals have passed away. They're all
Wow.
gone as of last summer, and I don't have any pets. So I decided then it's really time to crack down. I really wanted the book to come out a year ago, but I had some injuries, and so that laid me up. So I'm a year behind schedule of when I had originally anticipated on putting the book out. You know,
Wow. 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 So I like to ask you, now that you've put a book out, now that you're an author, how do you feel?
it feels great actually. It feels great that I've actually done it, and I have a copy of my own book in paperback. I want to get it in hardbound to see all my hard work, all the time that I put in, not only writing the book, but also the countless hours I spent with the illustrator trying to get my vision across and have
Yeah.
her bringing my vision out on the pages of the book.
Wow. So we are talking about your great write, Adventures in Dogville.
Yes.
Well, your story is very, very amazing. Like, this is one time I'm so privileged and honored to have a fine mind like you on this podcast. And I've been seeing my co host, Neema Chamchun, talking about not my cat. Well, I am a lover of animals too, but I like you to take us into your book. I like you to take us into Adventures in Dogville. What are we supposed to be expecting? Apart from the fact that we know that you're really a big fan and a big lover of animals, dogs. What are we expecting from this
Oh,
great ride?
oh,
And who did you write this book for? I'm sure you were trying to solve a problem.
I wrote this book, and it has it in the back of my book in memory of all my dogs and my 2 cats. So
Wow.
this book was written in their memory, and it's the beginning because actually it's the beginning in a series of Adventures in
Wow.
Dogville books. I already have at least 5 other titles for the next 5 books in the series and what they're going to be about. And like I said, once again, they will be based off of actual things that have happened. Okay, so with this book, Adventures in Dogville, it comes from the beginning, from the very beginning, from the time that the pups were born. Okay, and it brings them into their family life and their what they are doing as they're navigating life in the family, and then
Yeah.
they come across 2 cats who wandered in to their house when they were away, and they bring them into their family. So it's the book is showing love for other people, understanding of people that are different than you. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
different, and it
Yeah.
shows how we can incorporate that into our lives and
Yeah.
how we treat others with respect and can welcome other people that are not like us into our fold and take care of
Yeah.
them. So each book is going to have a moral of the story. So,
Yeah.
like at the end of the book, right before Mama and Papa Bichon go to sleep, they talk about their day, and they talk about all the things that happened, and talked
yeah,
about, how they helped the next door neighbor. They took a package in from the postman for the next door neighbor that was away. So
yeah,
that's helping others. So they helped her, and how they helped the cats join their family and took them
yeah,
in when they had nowhere to go. So,
yeah,
they were helping them.
yeah,
And also, there'll be things like right and wrong. Like, for instance, the one pup in instance, Cody, he tends to get into a lot of trouble and wreaks a little bit of havoc because he does things he's not supposed to do. So,
yeah,
during the book, you will see that, mom and papa have to guide him as
yeah.
to what's right and what is wrong and how to
Wow,
behave.
wow, awesome, so amazing. Wow, I am so engrossed. Amazing. But I like to ask you, here is a point where I like to ask you for our audience
Hmm.
who will be streaming this from all over the world. Who are your target audience? I know you're a children's author, and I'd like you to share with us your excitement about your readers, the people you're hoping to meet.
Well, to me, I I know that it's a children's book, and maybe some might think, okay, it would be like a 3 to 5 year range, but really, to me, I would say anything from two to ten,
Yeah,
2 to 11 years old. Children anywhere in that range. But really, I mean, it's even for adults. I mean, any adults that love
yeah,
animals,
true.
they love, you know,
Yeah,
cartoon kind of characters. My ultimate goal with this book is for it to be made into a cartoon or a cartoon series, or, like a
wow,
movie or something like that. Like, you see,
wow,
a lot of, that type of thing. So that's my ultimate goal too with the book, and just spreading joy, you know, love for each other, love for animals, um,
wow.
helping others. Those are all very big in my book. And my
Wow, Alexis, you would pass for a room full of books for you to be an actor, a musician, and now an author. I like to ask you, what drives you? What's your inspiration? Like, I was raising up, like, oh, I was growing up for was like for you. What I was it like growing up? Were you born into this family where reading was the order of the day, where you had mommy and daddy being so very would I call it conscious about telling you the importance or the significance of book? Where did you get this inspiration from?
just life, basically. Actually, it just, life itself. My love of writing. Like I said, I really wanted to do this book back in 2012, but there were other things that kept me, and other things that were going on that were in the forefront. But then once I no longer have my pets, this is a way of my pets living on. You know, they're going to live on. They're going to live on through everyone in the world, through the minds of children. You know what I mean? That read the books.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Go on.
so, that everyone can enjoy, you know, the animals the way I express them.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I like you to tell us, where can we get your book? How do we get to build a rapport with you? Are you a social media person? Are you on
Yes,
Twitter?
yes.
Just tell us how we can get your book and how we can get to form this rapport.
Okay, well, on Facebook, I have Steele Books. Okay, so that's Steelebooks, Steele Books on Facebook. There's a page for that. I also have Steele-books.com, which is my new author's website. My books
Wow,
are able to be purchased at Barnes and Nobles online, and also on Amazon as well. So
wow,
Amazon or Barnes and Nobles, you're able to get them. And Right now, Barnes and Nobles, they're available in ebook, paperback, and hardbound. And right now, they're in ebook and paperback in Amazon. But very soon, it will be available also in hardbound on Amazon as well. And coming soon is also Ingram Sparks, which will bring into play like probably Google and Apple Books and other things like that as well.
Wow, amazing, 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 beautiful. Wow, if you're streaming this, we are on to an amazing children's author Alexxis Steele. Author Alexxis Steele is the author of Adventures in Dogville, and she is a very creative person. She would pass for a room full of books. So trust me, I believe that this is one book that you would need to recommend for your young person, your young son, your young daughter, someone who is so passionate about reading. And trust me, author Alexis is always willing to take that baby by their ends, because this is always going to be a series. Author Alexis, I hope you can tell us more about the series.
Thank you. Yes, the series. So the next book that'll be coming out is called The Great Escape. Adventures in Dogville, The Great Escape. And that is based off of a story where one of the hip hop dogs, which was actually my daughter, who is a hip hop artist, leaves the gate open uh, to the front of the house from the backyard. And then Cody and Joey get out and decide to walk themselves, and they get lost in Dogville. So they're going to be going on some adventures, and that's the next one that's going to be coming up. But I also
Wow,
have the Christmas Caper, Birthday Boys, um,
wow,
uh, Cody and the Hawk. So there's going to be several other ones. Howling Halloween. So there's going to be like
wow.
several. There's going to be at least, like I said, 5 or 6 more in the series, maybe more. But for sure, I know those.
Wow, wow, amazing, amazing, amazing. Wow, this is the point on the show where I will need to tell you about our Name 10 Books Challenge. Wow, on the Name 10 Book Challenge, the author or creative on the show is supposed to name 10 books that would probably stay with them. I'm sure you're willing to take this challenge.
Ooh, 10 books for me. Well, here's the thing. I normally, personally, do not read fiction. I actually read autobiographies, and that's really the
No,
thing
no,
I like to read.
no. It doesn't count. Your poet, any books at all that would stay with you, they would love to recommend. All we need to do is to have you mention them and probably get to talk about the ones that really click or stick.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, being in music, I tend to like a lot of books, with other musicians in it. Okay. So,
yeah,
and people that I have interviewed as well, like the Ramones. Marky Ramone wrote a book called
yeah.
Blitzkrieg Blop. Okay. Um,
Okay. Would that go for one?
I'm sorry.
Should that go for number one?
Um, it can. I'm trying to think. Let me think. I should have this ahead of me.
Okay, so I can take that for number one.
Yeah. There's also okay, Steven Tyler. There's a book on
Steven
Steven
Tyler.
Tyler. Yeah. Steven
Okay.
Tyler is from the band Aerosmith. That's another one. Motley Crue, The Dirt. There's Bohemian Rhapsody with Freddie Mercury.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. It doesn't count. Fiction, non-fiction.
Okay, yeah. Um, I'll tell you one by Cherie Carey, which is called Neon Angel. That's
Neon
really Neon
Angel.
Angel. Yes, there actually was a movie that was put out, and that came out in like 2010, and it was based off of that book. Okay, so
Wow.
that had to do with the Runaways. So that was
So
like
that
the Runaways movie.
that's number three.
Yeah, that one actually is really high on my list. Uh,
Wow.
that is one of them
Wow.
that's really high on my list. Um,
Wow.
I'm trying to think now. I did say Motley Crue, The Dirt. Let me just see here. I have a lot of. I also like a lot of self-help books as well.
Wow.
Like there's the South Beach Diet, which is a really good one.
Which one of them? I didn't get that. I didn't get that.
The South Beach Diet.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
That would be number four.
Okay, so Dirty Blonde. That's Courtney Love.
Beautiful. Go on.
Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to think now.
You have five.
I have five. Let me see. I'm actually looking at a book on dogs. Actually, it's a Bichon Frise book. Bichon Frise is the kind of dogs that I have. So, and if you read my book, obviously little children aren't going to be able to pronounce the word Bichon. So
Bishan.
right. So Bichon is spelled Bichon, but in my book, I spelled it out phonetically, what like a B, like Beeshon. So it when they
Wow.
say it, it would sound like it.
Wow. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
That would be number six.
There's actually one called The Heroin Diaries, and that was all about Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue and his struggles and how he overcame his addiction. And I feel very strongly that that's a good thing. You know what I mean? For people that have overcome, I like seeing those kinds of stories because they
Wow. Wow.
overcame their addiction.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow. That would be number seven.
number seven, yeah. Trying to think now. Of course, I should have had these prepared ahead of time, and I wouldn't
Got your
know
back.
know how to
I got
note.
your back.
And that put me
I
on the spot.
got
Um,
your bag. Got your bag.
yeah, yes, I should have. I'm trying to think of what else. The Wizard of Oz. How about that? The
Okay, that
Wizard
was
of Oz. That was actually my all-time favorite movie. But I have a book
wow.
on the Wizard of Oz.
Wow, that would be number eight with just two more to go. I'm sure you're having this all in control.
Yes, two more in control. Let me think. Um, I'm trying to think. Books. I'll tell you in a second. All right, let me think. What would I take from my last two books?
That
I would
stayed with
say
you. Two books that stayed longer than you would love to forget. Wow, I got you. I got you. Trust me, I got you. Just two to go.
right. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I want to say there's a book called. Oh, no. Oh, you don't want to see that one. No, I'm trying to think. Um, I'm trying to think. There's a good Harry Potter. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Wow. 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 Amazing. 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 Wow. You did very wonderful. You did very wonderful. I'm sure that your creative career in the last couple of decades have gotten you into very much spotlight, and you should understand that you are now leading a life of authority where most people would read your book and they would want to relate with your story, they would want to relate with you. So, as a coach now, I'd like to ask you for the audience, what would be your last words for someone who is going through stuff? I know you like survival story. What would be your advice, your words to someone who is here to carve a niche for themselves? What would be your advice to someone who is yet to read a book? Share us your thoughts.
Okay, so as far as mentoring somebody that wants to get started, you mean?
Yeah, maybe you want to give them your helping hands. Maybe you have kind words for them. Just give us your last words for someone who is downtrodden.
Oh, for somebody that is downtrodden. Oh, never give up. That's the thing. Never give up. You know, there are a lot of times we go through hard times in life,
Yeah.
and we have our down days and our problems, but never give up. That's all I can say, because tomorrow's another day, and tomorrow's another day to start over.
Wow. Tomorrow is another day to start over.
Yeah.
Amazing. We've been on to author Alexxis Steele. Author Alexxis is an amazing and a fine mind author of adventures in Dogville. So if you're one person that loves stories about animals, you love illustrations. Sorry, Author Alexxis, I'd like to ask you, how many pages are we looking at? What's the
Actually,
length?
well, there's
Yeah.
78 pages, but
Wow.
half of that, if you split that in half, like I put the text on one page, and because I wanted the illustrations on a full page, I didn't want to have the text on the page. So that's why there's 78 pages. So, if I were to put that, well, there wouldn't have been enough room to put everything on one page for some scenes. But yeah, that's why normally I read that small children's books might only be like 35 pages. So my book is
Yeah.
larger than the average book from what I understand.
Wow, wow. So if you're going to be streaming this, this is going to be an amazing devour for every global child you know. So don't forget that you have the opportunity to talk to Alexis on our social media handle. You have the opportunity to get to see our book on Amazon, Adventures in Darkville. And trust me, you will need to buy this book and donate to your friends, your children, and make sure that they would always read this book and share reviews with Alexis Steele because she's very open for mentorship. She's open for coaching, and she's looking forward to build this rapport with our readers. So, with this, we come to the end of the Global Reader Cycle. It's been very, very amazing to have an amazing author like Alexis in the house. Alexis, I am
Um,
so honored that you
Thank
made it to.
you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, thank
Thank you
you.
for having
So,
me on.
what's your last word to your readers? What would you have to tell them?
Keep reading. Keep reading.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Don't forget that you would become the books you read and the people you would meet. Author Alexis says, keep reading.
That's
Thank you
right.
very much, Author Alexis. Thank you very much. Thank you
Thank
very much for
you.
honoring our RP. Thank you very much. We are so honored and so opportune to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. You have a great night.
All right, thank you. With
Bye
this, we
bye.
come to the end of the One Student, One Book, One Author mantra, the Global Reader Cycle, the ultimate podcast designed to make a committed reader out of every global person. Don't forget to engage on our special hashtags. Don't forget to follow, stream, and don't forget to look up the book of Author Alex the Steele on Amazon. Don't forget that we are looking forward to see Author Alexis still on the shows, on the Zoom meet and greet, on our webinars. And don't forget that we become the books we read and the people we meet. And this community is looking forward to help you win and forge this report. Thank you very much. It has been your host, Smart Stewart Udo. Thank you very much.